Hello guys, it's Jodie here from Geeking for Good. This is my tutorial on how to make a fantasy controller holder. So first of all, you want to measure and cut the base. I used some recycled cardboard here, just roughly tracing out where I wanted the supports to be and how big I wanted my scenery base to be. I then just cut out a few U shapes in my pillars so that I could fit in the controller nicely. Then what you want to do is just grab some clay. I personally just use air dry and press that into the base. You can roll it out to make it a little bit easier for you if you'd like. I took on the approach of brute force. I didn't personally roll out my clay or anything. You can if you want to. I think it might make the process a little bit easier. I found that the water made it a little bit better to mold around the base, and then I just smoothed over the edges. Next, you're going to want to make sure your controller fits nicely, make some grooves in the clay on the floor, on the base, and then just kind of carve that out. Then you can put your pillar there, right where you've just made that indent, and just kind of smush the clay around it to secure it. I like to make a little bit of a slope, again, just checking that it fits. The next step for me would be creating texture on the ground. I wanted it to be kind of like a field or a rocky terrain, whatever you want. And then you can press in some of the bigger display items or trinkets that you have into the clay, just to make a little mold for yourself. I did also experiment by pushing some sand into the clay while it was still wet, again just to add some texture. The next step would be to paint. So once you're kind of happy, you've got all of your indents in place, you want to wait for it to dry and then paint it. So I chose just kind of some browns to start off with for the dirtier areas, and then I used a little bit of dark green and also some like greys and yellows and stuff in there. I used a blotching technique just to help add that little bit of extra texture, but I will also be covering the ground in other kind of things like fake moss or grass. Next, I painted the pillars. I just mixed up some black and white to make some grey, rocky texture, and then I decided to add some more on the ground as well, just to kind of look like little bits of rock. So now you can move on to your landscape. I had a couple of different rocks and moss pieces, and then where I had made those indents before, I went and secured my bottles. Don't burn your fingers like I did. You can see me regretting that immediately. This is now where we're up to in the process. You can see that I've added a tiny crown there, and the next thing we will be moving on to is the fire. I just make a blob of hot glue and then used a cocktail stick to kind of fluff it up in the middle. This creates the spikes, which will be a really nice effect. And then to make the logs or wood for around the fire, I just chop off the sharp ends and then break them in half. I think that gives it a really nice texture of just branches and wood that you found. Mistakes were made. Yeah, make sure you put your lids on things. Next, I'm just painting over the little logs that I made, and then for the fire, I put down some stones, paint it red, glue my fire on, and then I can glue my logs and sticks in kind of two stacked square shape. Just clean up some of the hot glue, because if you use it a lot like I do, you know that you get tiny little spider cobwebs everywhere. Here I am adding a bit of a fiery yellow glow. You can see I'm just kind of dabbing off the excess there and just very kind of quickly brush it on, because as you can see when it dries, it's toned down quite a lot. And then the absolute final step is just to take out one of your crafting tools and get those individual bricks in your pillars. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please do like, subscribe, comment, everything really helps. If you'd be interested in learning this craft in a group environment, we are launching a variety of different events, workshops and meetups, both virtually and in person. You can keep updated on my main website and socials.